User joined your channel.
Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Welcome to episode 49 of What's the Story. So that means we're almost at our year mark. Can you believe that? I want to thank Jimmy Bell. He's our engineer and producer tonight. And Jimmy reminded me a couple of weeks ago that we're almost at a year. And I don't know what we're going to do for that. But I just want to thank everybody that's coming in already. Justine Mary has joined us. She's watching you. Jennifer Pesci Fagan has joined us. She's watching you. Yeah. These are their wives, by the way. They popped on right away. Cindy Nathan has come on. Hi, Cha-Cha. Randa has come on. And Chris DePiero. Where would we be without Chris DePiero? We all know and love him. I actually called him right before this and invited him over for dinner. But Corrine Fagan has joined us. All right. That's your sister?
Yeah, that's my oldest.
I love it. Okay, so I usually have a method to my madness. Not always, but this week, Jeffrey Campbell. Hi, Jeffrey Campbell. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Stephen Elbell, who is Jeffrey Campbell's guy. And love you both. They're both Geminis like me, and we're going out for dinner next week. So Chris DePiero is watching all three of you, he said. Wow. That's
and all three of us are ignoring you.
Yeah, they said they're going to ignore you tonight, Chris. Debbie Greenberg's joined us, John Pandish, Andrew Holmes. All right, so let me fill you in on what's happening here. So I usually book my show a few weeks ahead of time. Justine said Noelle is here too.
That's my daughter.
I know, she's beautiful. And just, hi Noelle, how are you, honey bunny? We're going to talk about you. So anyway, I did not book this week. And I kept thinking, who do I want to have on the show? Who do I want to have? And things just kept not working out. And then I realized that it was Father's Day, Sunday. And I did a Mother's Day show, but I hadn't done a Father's Day show. And the very first two guys that came to my mind were these two guys, Anthony Barilli and Scott Fagan. And we've known each other, I'm going to say 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 years.
More than.
More than that. Okay. And I love you guys for many, many different reasons. But one of the most favorite things I love about you is your dad stuff. And that you how much you love your kids, how I watch you on Facebook, I've seen you in real life, and that whole just following you guys as dads is amazing. So first, let's go back for a second and start off. We all met in Tony and Tina's wedding. You and I were actors.
That's right.
And you were the stage manager.
That's right, yeah.
Right? And you ended up marrying another one of the actors.
Tina.
You married Tina. Now, you were Dominic, though, right? Or did you become Tony at any point?
I did Tony with her once or twice.
Once or twice, you were Tony with your bride-to-be.
Yes.
Was it after you were engaged?
No.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I don't know if I've ever asked you this. But what was it about being? What was it? When was it that you said, "I'm going to ask that girl out"? We were in the show. You met her during the show, right? You didn't know each other before that, right? You met in the show?
That's true.
You were both actors in the show.
Yes.
And what was happening that you said, I think I'm going to ask that girl out? And did she say yes right away?
Truth be told, she put me on the pay no mind list while we were doing the show.
Oh, so she
was
very
professional.
Yes.
Very
she
professional.
Was not, I can see that. She's
very professional.
Not messing around.
No.
That's right.
So
laser focus.
Yes. So it was after I left the show.
Would have been a distraction.
How could I not be?
You are. I know. I know.
How could I not be? I probably was anyway. You just didn't admit to it.
Right. So that's it. And then?
It was after I left the show. Justine left the show shortly before I did. Then I left the show.
And then you asked her?
And then we went out one night, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you were going out during the show.
No.
And then
it was, and it was the dress, the subliminal message of the dress, the wedding dress.
The wedding dress. I think
just like
in your brain, you were
I got hypnotized.
And you were like, I'm going to get that girl in a wedding dress and she's going to say I do to me. Is that it?
I don't know.
I like it. Well, that's very romantic, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It is. No, and I like that Justine was no nonsense. She was like, nope, I'm acting right now. So let me see. Julie Angelina has joined us. Gina Savino, my cousin. We must clap. Gina Savino. That's it. We clap every time Gina comes on. Right. Gina, Anthony is one of these guys that I feel like could be in our family in 2 seconds. We just superimpose him.
My son's name is Savino. You know that.
I know that. His son's first name is Savino. Isn't that crazy? And we're from the same part of Italy, our families. I think Avellino, right?
My father's side is from Bari.
Yeah, it's close.
And my mother's side is from Napoli.
Napoli, it's 40 miles. We're 40 miles apart.
Okay.
So our families, I always feel like, I don't know. Michael, Leon Woolley, Chip Goldridge, Dina Sidney has joined. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I have Anthony Borelli on, who was my friend, actor friend from Tony and Tina's many years ago. And then Scott Fagan was the stage manager. Scotty, when did you join the show? Like halfway through it? When we were already in it?
It was around the anniversary because I remember us doing a big, 10th anniversary or something like that at Waverly Place. It was when we were at Waverly Place.
Waverly Place,
That's
all right. And then you followed the show and went to the next location? Or did you?
I left.
When did you leave?
I left while we were still at Waverly Place, but before we went to Times Square.
Okay. You just left. And then you went to do a different show. You were always doing something,
I
right?
did a bunch of small stuff. I actually left. When I left Tony Tina's, I met a girl in Tony Tina's who had mentioned to me that I would be good with the circus. So I joined the Big Apple Circus.
Is that true? I didn't know about this.
And I did such an amazing job, apparently, that I worked myself out of my 1-year contract, but my negotiating skills got me 6 months' worth of pay.
Oh, all right.
A $25 a week workshop that turned out to be Contact.
Contact on Broadway, which won the Tony.
Yes.
All right. And you talked about
Nice.
that. You actually won a Tony, right? Your show.
The show won the Tony. We were the best musical that year. We beat Disney's Aida, and the
Which is
Disney
a big
Corporation went after the Tonys after that, and it became the award that is now the best musical or best theatrical event.
Wow.
That's
So now they have best theatrical event because
because the music was all pre-recorded music.
there was no live
No
musicians.
live music, so it was a big.
Okay, so I remember there was something going on with that. All right, now I want to mention, since we talked about you and your beautiful bride, now I personally feel responsible in some way for your marriage, and I'll tell you why. So we were in the Broadway show softball league, Scotty and I. Were you ever in that league? Did you ever play softball with
Tony
us?
Tina, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So Scotty, I think, became our manager as well.
Yeah,
And I was the pitcher back then, and then Scotty became a pitcher after I left, I think, right, Scotty?
that's right.
Yeah. So Scotty was our manager, and then we also bowled together in the Broadway show Bowling League. So Thursdays, we would play softball in Central Park. Then we would go and do Tony and Tina's wedding. We would do the show. Then we would get our stuff and run up to 42nd Street and bowl until like midnight,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's like more like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Midnight it started.
That's true. Midnight it started. So now there was this cute girl. I'm going to tell the story first, and then you can jump in. There was this cute girl named Jennifer that he really liked. So he and I were on the same team, and he would constantly talk to me about, she's cute, right? She's cute, right? She's cute. So then we would take a cab for some reason. This particular night, we took a cab somewhere else afterwards, and he really wanted to ask this girl out. And Scotty, do you remember what I told you?
Go for it.
Go for it. I said, what do you got to lose? I said, listen, how do you know she doesn't like you too? You're cute, you're funny, you're a good guy. He's like, I said, listen, if she says no, she says no, but you'll never know if you don't ask.
She didn't say no.
What did she
but
say?
she waited a
Oh,
week.
these girls,
She
man.
waited a week to reply. She went on
What do
vacation
you
with
mean
her
she
family.
waited a week?
She waited a week. She went on
Jennifer.
vacation with her family, and then came back and said,
So
as
wait,
long as you don't tell anybody else in the bowling show.
These girls are good.
And what happened was, one week I forgot my bowling ball at home. So we had to go back, and we came in and immediately tipped off the rest of the place that we were a couple, and she got pissed about that. So
Wow.
see, I left her
Never
hanging.
lived that down. So
Georgie
Jenny,
Trask Murphy is a good friend of mine from her son and I went to high school together, and she calls me Hot Foot.
oh, okay. What's the hot foot thing?
So one
there a
year
story
for,
behind
I think it
Hot
was junior, whatever it was in the high school, junior prom, I went in wearing red sneakers.
And that's it.
Apparently I was one of the few that danced, so everybody called me Hot Foot.
I love
And
it.
that became a nickname for me. And then Chris mentions something that I believe he got cast in the show when I came around, when we were auditioning. So he came in as one of the black family waiters during that time. So.
Yeah. And he's saying you're cute. Now he's flirting with you, Burley. Burley is cute.
It's not going to work.
It's not.
He's
It's
taken.
He's taken.
You're
That's
a little
it.
late there, Chris.
So Jennifer, yes, you did leave him hanging, but I really like this. So these girls. So wait, you asked. How did you ask her out? What did you say?
Well, I took her to go see the show Moving Out, which I had a friend in.
Okay.
And that was a disaster
why?
because that performance, one of the lead actors died on a motorcycle on the way to the show.
Oh, my God.
So I had planned all this stuff with the cast member that I was roommates with, and all that went down the toilet. And we ended up going to the Three of Cups, ironically, that night to have dinner. But it was closed
Anthony's
for
restaurant.
a private party.
What?
Really?
So I walk in, and I'm like, why is nobody waiting at us? I know the guy here. Blah, blah, blah. And we had to leave. We went to a place called Elephant down the street from you. It was on the main strip on Broadway. And we went there, and she proceeded to tell me that she would never date anybody she works with
No.
or knows. And
Wow.
that totally killed it for me. But I said, I'm going to ask her. So we went to this bar downtown called Hell.
You went there.
Which is a well-known gay bar. But what was funny is all the guys were hitting on the girl that I was interested in. So I'm like, what the? And before she got in the car, I had asked her if she wanted to go out, and she just got in the cab and took off. And then I found out she was on vacation for a week. And my roommate said, hey, look, if she's not that into you, we'll see her at bowling. And she called me like a day or two before bowling and said, okay, we'll do it. So
we'll do it. That's it.
And we're doing it.
I love this story. I love that you didn't give up. I love that everything went wrong on that date, incling going. They literally went to hell.
And we went to Three of Cups, ironically.
And it was closed for a private party.
What are the odds?
So let's throw this in there. For people that don't know, Anthony Barilli and Justine. Well, Anthony first owned Three of Cups.
Yes.
Which was an amazing Italian restaurant. You got the shirt on.
Yeah.
That made to this day the best pizza I've ever had. You had the wood stove, right?
Wood burning oven.
Yeah, wood and best pizza ever. So Anthony, we talked about this before the show, was an actor in the show, 7 shows a week, and you simultaneously owned a restaurant, right? You had the restaurant first?
I did. Yeah.
So, I mean...
Mark Nasser met me. I was bartending at Three of Cups.
So Mark Nasser was one of the creators of the show. So he met you. That's like Julie Cesari, who usually comes on, who was the original director. She met Susie Campanero at a bar. Yeah. And Susie was literally wearing a bra and a skirt. And she said, you should come audition. Yeah. So you were the bartender at this place.
I was bartending when Mark met me at Three.
And he said, you should come and audition for my show.
Yes.
Isn't that great? That's one of those great stories where you hear of a lot of this in LA, like where someone was sitting at a counter and they got discovered. It happens here too in those weird ways. You know somebody in
I mean, I was acting prior to that. It wasn't my first acting gig.
Right, so I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
So he knew you were an actor.
He didn't.
Oh, wow.
He asked me if I was. And we had just met. I was bartending. It was just having fun.
And so you were so you were acting before that.
Yes.
Did you even as a kid want to do that, or was it something?
No. Later in life.
How did that happen?
It's a long story.
All right. We'll save that.
It's a long story. Yeah, it's a long story. Yeah, it was really just happenstance.
Now, was the food? I mean, the restaurant business a family business?
No. Friends. So Three of Cups. Kind of the short story of it was the idea of being involved in it was because my partner, I had 2 partners, and one of them was an actor, and myself. We figured we'd help each other.
Okay.
Cover each other if we got a gig or something.
Amazing.
And that's what I did with Tony and Tina's. We did 7 shows a week. We were off Mondays and Tuesdays.
So then you worked at the restaurant?
I worked Mondays and Tuesday nights, and then the other days of the week during the day doing paperwork.
So you were literally working doubles every day.
Yeah, but
But it was fun.
Yeah,
I know. We talk about that.
None of it was like working hard.
People always say that when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
You might be physically tired or you might be mentally drained, but you can't wait to get up and do what you got to do. So I remember that the whole cast used to go there afterwards, right?
Yeah, we partied there a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't always go because I was doing I went in different directions.
And this is going back years. I mean, I did the show in basically all of '96.
Okay.
That was a year.
I don't know why I felt you were in it so much longer. Maybe because your presence as a cast member was you were always there. I think.
Well,
maybe because we came to the Cups.
And afterwards, little shows here and there.
I felt like I worked with them, but I actually wasn't there when you were there. I came in after you.
Did you?
Because Justine was gone, and then Barilli was gone, but I met you guys on the tours a lot, like when we did the little special gigs.
You know what it was with the show, too?
Scott also, he basically stage managed my wedding.
I was going to bring that up.
Is that true? Okay, talk about that. This is so great. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we.
So, well, your wedding was an amazing
It
wedding.
was a party, and we had
It was
all of our
such a
friends.
party.
The band from Tony and Tina.
Right.
They,
Lynn Portis.
Lynn, Bobby Kent.
Bobby Kent, who's going to call in. Oh, my God.
Right. Tony Ventura.
Tony Ventura, I play the bass.
Right.
And who's
So we had the TNT band, and then everybody else was getting up and
then
doing
people were
stuff.
just jumping up to sing.
So the place we had our wedding was not a traditional
Space.
space. It was just it was a beautiful space, an old synagogue on the Lower East Side, Angel Orange Sands Cultural Center, and so it was just space. We had to bring everything: tables, chairs, the food, the bar. We had to set everything up, clean the place, everything. So we asked Scott to help us to manage it while we're trying to have a wedding.
I mean, if I remember correctly,
I was doing all the food, the
it was an
booze.
amazing wedding,
It was a
and it
party.
went off without a hitch. Now I know who was behind it. But that makes sense. And do you remember what at Tony and Tina's when we used to do the Gypsy of the Years and the Easter bonnets?
Yeah.
Because Chuck Santoro and I would write those skits, and I think Liz Zazzy. There was like a crew of us that would write the skits, and then you would take over from there,
Yep.
Scott, right? And
Yep.
you would, and these were on big Broadway stages. So all the Broadway shows, like they just had Broadway Bears, and they have Gypsy, and they have all these great different things that the shows do to raise money for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And so the Easter bonnet, the year that I think we won.
We came in second.
Second.
But think about that, though.
That's a
our
big
tiny
deal.
little show.
Our tiny little show
Off
came in
Broadway.
second. And
Yeah.
how many shows competed? Do you remember, Scott?
Many. I don't know. It was a lot.
Like 20 or something.
20.
Like that.
At least.
Did we lose the number that was that solo dancer from Miss Saigon?
I can't
I don't
remember.
know, but we had
remember.
we had some good skits.
I remember I was Michael Just as the stage manager, and I was picking up scarves and all that stuff because you guys were doing like a version of a chorus line or something.
I have to go back and look at those. I
Yeah.
have those old videos. Anyway, so Justine's bonnet, remember, was an engagement
A big ring, that's
a big
right.
engagement ring. That was a fun time. I have to look for those pictures. But
Carol
so-
Burnett was like hosting.
Oh my God! No, these were. I mean, if people don't know of these are Broadway community really huge fundraisers that you meet like
Broadway Cares Equity Fights
yeah,
AIDS.
and you meet like all the stars, and everyone's so down to earth because we're all working for one goal, and that's to raise money. So those were great experiences, and you ran that. I remember we all had bridal gowns. Every girl, remember, had a bridal gown because we were all Tina's and Tony's from all over the world for that skit.
Yeah.
Me and
Rose Keto, who was our wardrobe person.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And Sarah and I think Billy Hipkins
Yes,
as well.
Billy Hipkins, who was on the show,
Yeah.
episode 6. Billy, yes,
Wow, that's good.
Billy honestly, he's the king of
he is the king of
making
wardrobe.
bonnets too.
Yeah.
Easter
Yes.
bonnets.
And he still is doing all that stuff, and he was working on the Jimmy Buffett show, right?
Yes.
Recently,
Yes.
Margaritaville.
Yeah.
But he's always working on something. And he just wrote a new show himself. I went to see. He's amazing. So that's Billy Hipkins was our wardrobe guy. Yeah, we had some amazing times. So now I want to go and talk about, because Bobby Kent's going to call in 7 minutes, and then we'll talk. I want to talk about your kids. Okay. So one of the reasons that I love you guys, I loved you before as friends, as peers, as brothers, but now I just have all this respect for what you've done as dads. So I knew you before you guys were dating. Then I knew you when you got married. So you have
3 girls,
3 girls, and what are the ages?
6, soon to be 7, 4, and then soon to be 3.
Wow.
Still cute.
They're so
Very
cute.
Yeah.
So cute. And they look exactly like you and Jen morphed. I mean, like, you look at them, you're like they all have that laugh you do like that. Right?
It's very funny in a family where they all take ownership because they're cute, and then when they get older and they're like, oh, they don't look anything like me. But yeah, they're at the age now where everybody's trying to take ownership of who they look like better.
Oh, is that true?
Oh, yeah,
So
totally.
the kids do that?
No, the families do that.
The families are like,
Yeah.
she looks like you and he looks like you and all that stuff. All right, so I just want to scroll down here. Maria Filiamani has joined us. She's my friend from Morristown. Nancy Pizzotti. Hi, Nancy. Justine, what is she saying? No, you worked with me at the Downtown Space
Did
Dock.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I remember working with you too.
I'm going to
actually.
believe, we
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in 3rd place, Justine. Is that true? I don't know.
No, second.
I'm going to
Be Italian.
Be
that's
Italian was the song we did, right. Joe Gullah is saying, "I love you, Maria. I love you too, honey." In sexually appropriate ways. You're absolutely right.
Bobby
is
Kent's calling in a minute.
Oh my God, we're so yes, 9:30. Bobby Kent
So
is
the
calling.
kids.
Bobby, you know, I forgot you were in that wedding. He was the drummer. Maybe
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Now you have 2 kids,
2 kids, a boy and a girl.
boy and a girl.
They're teenagers now.
Wow.
My son is going to be a high school senior in September.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
And my
that's
daughter
crazy.
is already a sophomore in high school.
That's crazy.
So they're teenagers, good kids.
Yeah, they're really good
kids.
And you know what? Scotty was telling me a story about Lily, who's your oldest daughter. What did she tell me the story that you said? What she said?
So I said to her last night that I was doing this, and she said to me, "Well, how can Maria interview you if I don't know Maria? Does Maria know enough about you to ask you a question?" And I said, "Oh, Maria and I know each other." She goes, "Well, if Maria has any questions, she can call me, and I can give her some good."
Is that funny? She's 7.
That's my 7-year.
I like that though.
She set herself up for management.
Yeah, she's like, you know, just like have her
I
people
got this.
call my
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I love that. So, there's so many. Oh my God, there's so many questions I want to ask you now.
So my daughter.
Yes, please.
So my daughter, talking about it,
Noelle, who we love, who's
Noelle
also likes,
Yeah, so she's a theater kid. You know, she loves it.
and that makes complete sense.
And you know, drama and musical. So she likes
Both.
Yeah, she really does.
Well, didn't she just do like the Drowsy Chaperone at her
She's
school?
Drowsy Chaperone and Arsenic and Old Lace. She did both
Really?
plays this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
she
for
loves
you,
it. And
Noelle.
she's very talented. She's a great director too.
Well, also when
She's
you guys
pretty
have those parties, which you and Justine throw these amazing parties, Noelle usually does some kind of game
Yes,
show that
that's
she
true.
runs, right?
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, she's sweet because she's a little shy, but she's also good at being on stage.
Yes.
So she breaks through that. Now, are your kids big hams like you? Because you're a big ham.
Lily has dabbled in theater. We haven't pushed that on her, but the very first
Is she the most
activity-
outgoing?
Well,
of the
right
three?
now, yeah. I mean, Kira, who's the middle, is very reserved, and Lucy can be a ham, but it's usually in a devilish way.
That's great.
Think Jack from The Incredibles. That's Lucy. But Lily actually, her very first extracurricular school event was she did a theater class and she did the scene from Annie.
Oh my God!
So yeah,
little one.
she
All right,
dabbled.
Bobby Kent is calling. We're going to answer this phone call.
Got to answer the call. It's Bobby Kent.
Kent? What? Oh my God! Is that you for in real life? No, you don't have to put any sound on. Don't worry. Listen, just talking to your phone like you would talk to me regular. I have it on speaker. You're on speakerphone.
Okay,
So now, Bobby, you have girls too, right?
I do.
You have. How old are your kids now?
Look at that smile. Look at that big smile. And I don't know the guy in the back.
What do you?
Bobby.
What, honey?
Wait, you're on the. I'm watching the guy's movement.
Yeah, but don't worry. You're going to be on delayed time. Don't watch the Facebook Live while you're talking to me, Bobby. Watch it later. This is perfect because Bobby is so crazy.
All right, I'm talking to you.
All right, just talk to me. Don't watch the screen, Bobby. All right, so first of all, Bobby is a drummer. He's an incredible musician. You play the mandolin, right?
No, not much anymore. My daughter does.
Your daughter plays the mandolin. Which daughter?
Everything. Monica, she plays every instrument that you put in her hand.
She plays every instrument you put in front of her. That's
She
amazing.
does.
And that is,
And
but she knows you. That comes from you being a musician. And
I guess, I mean, she started from a little. She just, and she picks up an instrument, figures it out. She's got young fingers, so she can play all the chords and everything like that. And then daughter plays guitar.
yeah, I've seen the pictures on Facebook. They're both, and I've seen the pictures on Facebook. I follow you. I love all your stuff with your daughters. So now you have 2 girls. Anthony's the only one with the boy. You guys, you made all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, now you still perform. Do they ever perform with you? What is it? What are they writing on there? It's just Justine is writing something. Hold on.
It's almost like a Peanuts reference.
I think he's talking. No, because Bobby, you know what it is? You're a little muffled. So
A muffled?
yeah. Oh, you're better now. You're better now. Okay.
I got a $1,300 phone. I shouldn't be muffled.
Okay, good. Now we can hear you. Whatever you were doing before. Justine says it sounded like you were talking into a cup with a string.
I don't know.
Bobby, listen. You know what we were talking about? Let me tell. Listen. Do you remember when you were playing in the show? He was the drummer for our show. He had done so many shows, literally in a row.
Yeah.
He used to fall asleep
Yeah.
playing. He used to be like this, literally playing the drums. Now the drummer has to move really quickly, but he was sleeping. And I have a picture of you. I'm going to find it, Bobby, and I'm going to post it on Facebook. And you're
Okay, I actually had it somewhere as well. I can't see it story somewhere. But yeah, I used to fall asleep.
he used to fall asleep.
And then if I had to get to another gig, I would play everything faster and win and everybody's cross happy. And, you know.
Oh, you wanted to play the show faster so you could get out of there.
Exactly.
Oh my God! So he was dictating
Thank
the
you, Bobby.
speed of the show. Yeah, we were all tired, so we're all thank you.
That's who that was. I
Oh,
gave
my
it to the wrong
God.
person.
I know, we all want to get out of here.
We all wanted to get out of there. We were tired.
We're getting paid by the hour.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, we always say this, that we had a great experience, but
I didn't do it every time.
listen, I think, yeah, but
Lynn used to love it when I did it.
I know, look, I think your union paid you better than our unions did, though. Did you know that? Definitely.
Just
And, you know, that's and everybody because I'm not collecting a pension and I got this to do that show.
You what?
So,
I'm with Justine. You got.
Huh?
It's hard to hear you, Bobby. You're a little muffled over there. What's happening?
No, the crying out
speak
loud.
into it. Don't
We're going to have to fly you up for episode 51.
I'm yelling in the phone.
Maybe you should. Okay, now I can hear you. Now I can hear
Yelling
you.
works.
Yelling works. Yeah, the yelling
Justine
thing is.
suggests you get your $1,300 back.
Yeah, she said. Justine says you should get your $1,300 back for that phone.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's like an iPhone something.
iPhones.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jesus Christ.
No free ads.
It's a piece of crap.
I know, Bobby. Listen, what's it like? What's it like living in Nashville after being a New Yorker all your life?
Well, I've been here 20 years now.
20 years in Nashville,
Wow.
Yeah.
but you still sound like a New Yorker. I came to visit you.
100 people a day are moving there.
100 people a day are moving there.
Yeah, don't even get me started because it's like there's one bus and a million cars. It's horrible.
Oh.
I got to drive my kids everywhere now. I'm like an unpaid Uber driver.
You are an unpaid
Yeah,
Uber driver. I know. It's not
I
easy.
take one kid to one rehearsal, another kid to another rehearsal. But let me tell you real quick, okay?
Okay.
I want to tell you. So both of my kids, because I heard Anthony talking about, both my kids were like, I want to do this. They're playing music, but more than not, they're in theater. And Bella gets auditions not because she has Down syndrome, she gets auditions because she's good. There
Right.
was one show that she was doing called This Is Me that had kids that were different. It was a show about being different.
Okay, so was it all kids with disabilities, or just that they were
No,
inclusive?
it wasn't about kids with special needs. It's about just being different. Like
Just being different, okay.
The good kids in the show and stuff like that. But they had her in the show. She closed the show. And, but then she was also in Oklahoma 3 years ago, and she still remembers one of the things that she does that she can really do is she remembers blocking, choreography, and knowing. And
Wow.
I could ask her to still do the blocking from Oklahoma, which she did 2 summers ago, and she still knows. So she just has a few minds.
Well, you know what? I think that the thing is that maybe she's like a director. That's what directors do. They have to remember all this stuff. And
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I feel that all the time. She also remembers everybody's drops and where they're supposed to be.
Well, listen, I'm going to say this in front of all three of you. The reason that your kids are having these experiences is because you guys and your wives or your partners are bringing these opportunities to them. So I want to just take a second, because I also teach and I teach theater arts, and it's so important if your child has an inkling to do this or a love for it, that you find programs in your area or in the schools that they go to, or seek it out or create something. Because if a child feels creative and feels that they fit somewhere in the world where they can express themselves, that child is going to learn differently. They're going to retain things. They're going to be compassionate. They're working on teamwork. It's no bad skill you're going to get from including your child in theater. So,
it's a recent truth to me. And I saw it with Beth a long time ago, and then Veronica figured it out. And it's just a turn it on.
yeah. Well, listen, I love you, and I want to say Happy Father's Day, because this is our Father's Day show. And when you come to town, if you come to New York again, let me know, and then I'll have you actually on the show where we will hear you better, because it's a kind of a bad connection. But keep doing what you're doing, Bobby.
It's a phone. It's a cell phone.
Well, you got to get rid of you. If you paid $1,300 for that phone, I think, did you buy it from someone? Did it fall off a truck? Some Italian guy sell that to you?
Bobby, I think it's.
They don't have Italian guys here.
Oh, they don't have Italian guys in Nashville. That's true.
All right, I'll come down there and I'll rule that town. But I really, Bobby, I think I'm blaming Maria's speaker, not your phone, honestly.
Really? Because usually it's not a problem.
All right.
All
Bobby,
right.
love you, brother. It's great to hear your voice.
Love you guys too. All right, let me go back to watching the show.
All right. We love you and we miss you. And once this is over, I save it. And then, you have the video and you can watch it. I'll post it on your page too. Okay?
Sounds good. Okay. I love you guys.
We love you too,
Love you
Bobby.
too, Bobby.
And we miss you.
I miss you. Okay.
Oh, miss you too, honey, a lot.
Bye.
All right, bye, sweetheart.
So my mom jumped in.
Bye.
Bye, honey.
Who's that, Donna?
That's my mother. Yeah.
All right. Oh, Bob, it's too bad that the connection was not so good. Usually it's a little bit, it depends, it depends. All right, so let me see. What have we missed here? You guys were laughing. What did I miss? So Justine says she should get his $1,300 back, right? And then,
Then my wife just laughed at Justine.
all right, hold on. Change
And
me
then
up.
Jeffrey joined.
Jeffrey, who's Jeffrey? Jeffrey Campbell?
No, down below. Go down
Stay on. Hold on a second. Okay.
with the H.
Just scroll down. You're all right. It wasn't much. It would have
Oh
got
my
us in
gosh.
trouble.
Yeah. All right. Good. So it's a good thing we didn't.
Jeffrey H. Heatley or something.
Oh, I don't know.
And then my mother joined.
And your mother? What did your mother say?
Oh, she just said hello.
Oh, all right. Justine was cracking us up. Ask him. Oh my God. Yeah, because he's in. Oh my God, he is in Nashville, so they don't have Italians there. They don't probably have Democrats there either. Are there a few? Maybe. Who knows? Poor Bobby. I always see him posting crazy stuff. John Fitzgerald has joined us. Karen Livingston has joined us. Okay, so I want to segue over to our food section. The name of the section is Go Ahead, Keep Eating. That's the name of our food section. All right, so let me tell you what happened here. So I'm like, I'm going to have guys on. I'm going to make when I have guys on, I always go for the meat because I'm like, guys eat the way I eat, and I always eat the bad stuff. But then I said to Anthony, I'm going to make pulled pork. Scotty was all excited, and Anthony said, don't worry, you don't have to feed me, but I don't eat meat. It's been 7 years now, so I was kind of surprised because you owned a restaurant, you're Italian.
Yes.
What made you decide to cut meat out of your diet? Because I didn't know that about you. Was it the animal rights thing?
Yeah, it's an animal.
Yeah? Okay. So you're probably healthier because of it. Too.
Yeah.
Did you
It
lose
was a
weight
combination.
because of it?
Originally, I did, and then again, you have my carbon up.
Carbon up and you still eat sugar though, right?
Yeah, that's the battle.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, I
So
eat
what do
it.
you eat at City Field?
They're both Mets fans, by the way.
So there you go. That's a good point. I was
Yes,
thinking about
please.
that.
Let's talk
Met
about
fan. So as far as being a good father, right?
Yeah.
So that's like almost a dilemma. It's like
Why?
passing on that curse of being a Mets fan.
I'm a Red Sox fan. You talk about curses.
Yeah, but
We
at
had
least
that-
you've had,
Well, wait a minute. But we waited 86 years.
Yeah, but
Imagine how many generations didn't.
yeah, for
We
sure.
were passing that tragic heart. Look at like you've seen my
The Yankee fans, because New
It's like
York is that town. It's
Boston.
Mets Yankees.
we
they're
have Mets and
rivals.
Yankee fans.
So Christopher,
So the Yankee
we
fans-
both want to beat up Christopher.
Mark Nazi had a good line. Mark, because he's a diehard Yankee fan,
Oh, is he?
and he would call it, child abuse because I was taking my kids to Met games
No.
and making them Mets fans.
Oh, that's mean.
It's mean, right?
That's awful, Mark. That's not.
But you know what? Speaking of bringing up kids, too many. You listen to the Met fans, and we always have low expectations. but we get very hyped when something actually goes well. Like,
well, you won 3 games in a row.
We won 3 games in a row.
I'm gonna
We're
give you
super
a-
excited.
No, it's a big deal,
You
right?
talk to a Yankee fan,
Yeah.
and they want to take the 3 players that aren't batting 300 on their team and want to trade them to any other team because their team's not good enough.
I know.
So I
They're
guess it
winning
builds
a lot.
character by making your kid a Mets fan. I
Listen,
guess-
this is what I feel, that you're making kids if you're making your kid a Mets fan or a Red Sox fan, you know that in life you're not going to have everything handed to you.
yeah.
You're not going to have everything bought for you. It just sometimes goes away. Go look at DePiero. What is he saying?
He ate a meatball in Italy.
He ate a meatball. What is he
He's talking
saying?
about him.
Oh, you ate a meatball in Italy?
Oh, I had
Well, you
no,
had
not,
to.
not a meatball. I had prosciutto.
Oh, okay. Well,
I did. Oh,
but
and
you
you know
were
what?
in Italy.
That's funny. Not funny. Interesting. So
You have to, though.
Anthony Bourdain, right? So
Yeah.
he just passed, tragic death.
Yeah.
I thought he was a great man, bringing cultures
Right,
from
all
around the
over.
world to people. Being the nucleus of it being food.
Yes.
And I started reading his book, Kitchen Confidential, which he wrote years ago.
Okay.
And he was talking about vegetarians and how he had no patience for them in that setting. Like, don't go to somebody's culture and they put food on your plate and you're going to tell them, I don't eat that, I'm a vegetarian. He goes, he
Wow.
had no patience for that.
That's it.
And I related to that because I don't attach to the label
Right.
vegetarian. Because actually, I'm really not. I eat fish, so it's really not a
Yeah.
not a vegetarian.
And I wouldn't have thought that because you never
no, I
soapbox
know. I
about
just
it.
don't eat. I just don't choose to participate in eating
Yeah,
meat.
it's okay.
But when I was in Italy, I'm there with my family, and they're farmers, they're country people.
Right, like
they
mine.
have chicken and prosciutto, and
Yeah,
they're
that-
farmers, and they put fresh prosciutto, fresh
Oh my
mozzarella
God,
that they're
delicious.
making. Everything they're making, they make
They
it.
make it.
they have-
Yeah.
They have.
They're curing it and they're
So
they're not buying.
I'm gonna tell them I'm eating it,
Of course.
and I enjoyed it.
And the Italians of the world thank you for eating that prosciutto.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I mean, I had
out of
I had-
respect. But
I
how was
had-
it? Did you love it?
It was
Or were you-
it was fantastic.
I know.
And I had another relative from Italy. She came to visit us at the house. My aunt from Italy, and she was showing me how to make her meatballs. Right. This is before I became vegetarian. This is years before that. And so we were making the meatballs. We were making the sauce, and she asked me to get the pasta. And all we had in our house was whole wheat pasta.
Wow.
She was like, "No way!"
What the hell?
She was like, "What is this? We're not cooking this."
Wow.
She sent me to the store to get,
Real
durum,
pasta,
semolina flour.
Oh my God! Listen, before we go to the food section, though,
Yeah.
I want to talk to Scotty about one of the things that we were talking about before was the balancing of, and I talked to you guys about this too. When you're married and one of you is taking care of the kids, one of you is working. Like you were giving me you and Jen's schedule because she's also in the business of stage managing, right?
Well, she's still in the business.
Right.
I do retail now, but she works on the weekends. She calls it her day off from the kids. She works over at
So
CBS.
working is her day off,
She's
right?
a sister in the Stagehands Union. She's going out for a gig tomorrow morning too. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because
But you guys have different schedules,
we
right?
have totally different schedules. During the week, I'm basically gone until I get home, and most of the time I make it home for dinner, but sometimes I miss. But yeah, the only day that we have together as a family is really Saturday. So
Okay, she said stagehand, not managing. Yes, he corrected me. Thank you. So go ahead. Saturday.
yeah, so Saturdays is a really big day for us to make the best we can do with that. But I think what's interesting about that dynamic is it makes you really think about how your parents sacrificed. Bobby was talking about the Uber experience. Being a personal Uber driver. I mean,
Yeah.
the one
Right.
thing you don't realize is how precious sleep is, but also
Right.
what your parents did for you.
Yes.
That you complained about or took for granted until you
Yes.
become a parent, and all of a
Yes.
sudden you realize that this is a sacrifice that you need to do because your kids will remember it, and it'll make you feel good because that's everything I do for my kids I learned from my parents. So
Yeah, that's great.
You
I was
feel
thinking
the same way?
yeah, 100%. I was thinking about that this afternoon, thinking about coming here and speaking to you about being a parent, a good parent. Which, by the way, honestly, as you said earlier, your partner, your wife,
Yes.
that's a huge part of it. My wife absolutely makes me a better father because
I'm
she
sure she would
balances
say
me.
the same thing.
She balances me. She edits me. She kind of talks me, you know,
Off the ledge.
yeah, into sanity. But I didn't realize
My mother used to do that.
what I learned about being a father from my own dad
Right.
until I became one. You know, I really didn't realize it. And the biggest thing, what you were just mentioning,
Don't worry about that.
well, the biggest thing was is basically showing up. You know, showing up, being committed, and even if you don't even even if you're not even sure what to do, just be there. You know, like even if you're not comfortable in the scene that you've been asked to join, you know what I mean? For example, like my dad, we had a basketball team when we were kids. I love sports. Always have, right? So none of the dads would coach our basketball team. We're only like 12, 13 years old. So we were old enough to know better.
Yeah.
You know, like we understand the game well enough. We're already playing a little bit of ball in school. And my dad said he would coach the team. And I'm like, oh man, my dad doesn't know anything about basketball, you know? But he did it. And we helped him.
He showed
Yeah,
up.
and we helped him. And I was like, this is so great of him.
But everybody that's been on sports teams knows that part of coaching is being that adult that people can turn to that just know, oh, there's an adult here that's looking out for us, whether you know about the sport or not.
Yeah.
You know, that everybody wants that role model, and that's what it's more about than anything. And your dad he showed up.
Yeah.
And so you learned that from him.
Yeah, he really was, you know.
And Scotty, your dad was very much, right? Like
My dad was a workaholic for the most part. I mean, he was around like on the weekends and stuff like I am now, which just gives me anxiety because that's where you wonder if you're doing enough.
yeah,
you know,
we talked about that.
The thing I think about as a kid was, I didn't know if what I was gonna do. I ended up going into theater. I was stage managing a lot in high school. My mom was driving me back and forth to school all the time and picking me up for rehearsals. And I know I shared this story earlier with you, but I want to share it. I was recently at my parents' house, and I just happened to mention about, I was reminiscing about being in theater and being at the Tony Awards and stuff like that. And the night that we won, we happened to be across the street, and when Radio City was was over, we had just won. I run out, and I see my mom in the middle of the street. And I made eye contact with my mom, and I ran down, because she was near us, and I ran down, I gave her a big hug and kiss, and I said, we did it. And that's a moment that, for me, strikes a chord, because that was my proudest moment, but it was also, when we recently discussed it, her proudest moment.
Wow. Wow.
It's, to me...
Oh, I just got chills.
To me, it's very interesting about, you don't know what moment in your kid's life will be the most precious moment. I didn't know that till... 20 years later?
Right.
And that's why I believe, when we sit down at the dinner table with the family, we discuss, how was your day? And the other night, I was sitting down, and I was late for dinner. I sat down, I was having dinner, and my daughter woke up from sleep.
Which
and she
one?
sat down, Lily. And she sat down, and she said, Dad, how was your day?
Wow.
And I'm just like, wow, this kid gets it.
Yeah.
She wants to know.
But you don't know what kids are really listening to sometimes until they reiterate it back. They're learning, they're watching you.
They
That's
learn too much.
Yeah. So, it's things like that. So, I just think that's my hat is off to both of you. Let's segue to the food for a second, then we'll go back to stories. Okay, so, Scott, this is what I made for Scott, and I'm going to have some too. Pulled pork, one of my favorite things on the planet, and what I put in it was, hold on, I got these things called Smoky Okies. They're actually from Scotland. I have them, I order them from Scotland, and they're like little pieces of oak, and then I put a little barbecue sauce, I put honey, I put some cayenne pepper, I put beer, I reduced beer down with pineapple juice, and a bunch of great spices. Yeah. So this is...
labor intensive.
Oh!
Tell Jen I'm not bringing any home.
All right. No, Jen, listen, wives, you're getting food too, and look, doggy bag. So this is what I made for Anthony. You can't go wrong with a simple marinara sauce, right? So I made marinara sauce, sauteed nice with some garlic, some onions, a little red pepper, and then I put some mushrooms and peas in there and some scallions. So that is with both, we call them farfalle. We know farfalle, but the Americans call them bow ties. Farfalle stands for butterfly in Italian. So with butterfly pasta.
Beautiful.
And Anthony, this is made for you with so much love.
With love.
Now,
the secret ingredient.
Now, I love a good salad, anybody that's watched the show. So this salad is, delicious. So what I have in here is green leaf lettuce, I'm still not ordering the romaine because I still am leery of the romaine. All right. Then we have radishes, grated carrots. I got some avocado in there. Delicious. The little tomatoes, little sweet tomatoes, they're in there. And I think that's it. So I'm going to do a lime and just regular olive oil dressing. Just lime. How's that?
I believe the script reading is nice.
Nice. Right? For life. Do the for life.
For life. Where's Chris? Chris will jump into this.
And wait, get the cake.
I got
Tony,
the cake right here.
oh my God. You see the stage manager always ready.
Yeah.
He had the next
Yeah, I know.
prop.
It's
I turned this way and he already had it. Okay, so Anthony Barilli, my friend, has brought me a delicious, it's kind of like a blueberry scone cake.
yeah, like a bunt
Oh, it is a bun cake. It smells delicious.
from Joe's Sicilian Bakery in Bayside.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then
Old
it's
school.
it's a bunt above the rest.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This smells really good. So we're having a blueberry bunt cake. I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Oh my God! I wish you could all join us. But anyway, we have about 10 minutes left to our show. So now let's check out what is Jen saying? That cake has a hole in it. Yes, that's a bunt cake, Jen. Gina Savino, these two guys are great. Yes, they are, Gina.
Casper,
They
our friend
are, thank you.
Casper's here. Hi, Casper.
Oh, there he is. Casper Frank. Guys, I'm trying to die here. I know, Casper. What are we going to do? Gina, I'm telling you, can't you just see Tony, Anthony in our family? And then Scott reminds me of my cousin Ricardo a little bit. My cousin. Also, you got to, I know you're not Italian, but you could pop in as well. Now, what are you? I know you're 100% like me,
Yes.
right?
Czechoslovakian, Hungarian, and very little French.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that you did you
No,
were like
that's not how
this.
French I am.
Oh, so you had like a
A
little,
little
pinky.
pinky French, yeah.
All right, Czechoslovakian, Hungarian, and I
A little
like
bit of
that.
French.
All right, and do you speak any of those languages?
No.
No, that's all right. And anyway, do you speak Italian, Anthony? You know a lot of
No,
Italian.
I understand
Yeah.
a lot of Italian.
But
I butchered it.
it's all right as long as you get a little bit of it. I think the important thing in life is just to be open. Daka Mohammed has joined us. Hi, Daka. Jennifer is saying he had to marry the Italian. Listen, that's the way it goes. If you're not Italian, you're going to end up marrying one or dating one. I'm telling you.
She says that now after letting me wait for a week.
But Jen, I'm telling you, because I know, because I've been his friend a long time, he really likes you. But he was a little afraid to ask you out. First of all, you're very pretty. Second of all, you're no nonsense. He knew that you were no nonsense and that she was Italian. And I told him, Italian girls are no joke. So you got to be ready. But his heart was completely open. I'm glad you finally said yes. And
Bobby said I speak Yiddish.
Oh, Bobby, Bobby Kent? Do you speak Yiddish? He probably
Imagine how that
does.
would have sounded over that
How
speaker.
does that sound like? Oh my God! Listen, I'm sorry if maybe the speaker. Maybe I got to get a new speaker or something. I'm sorry, Bobby, but I do remember Bobby speaking a little bit of Yiddish. Bobby, how does that work? A New York Jew in Nashville. I'm always intrigued by that. Do you speak Yiddish to anyone in Nashville?
No, don't try it. They'll lock him
No,
up.
they will lock him up. They'll deport him, even though he's born here. They'll send him somewhere. Oh my God, I can't imagine. Good for you, Bobby. Better you than me. Now, Chris DeViro says, has really shaved in the last 10 minutes.
No, he wants to.
He wants you to shave.
Yeah.
I think he's a little jealous of you.
Of course. How could he
Chris
not be?
DeViro is a little jealous of you, I'm telling you.
How could he know?
All right, so now let me. We have about 7 minutes left, maybe a little less. What, as a Anthony, what would you want to leave people with, as a creative person, as a dad, as a person in this, living in these times, as a dad?
Oh,
I know it's a loaded question. Because Scott and I talked about this earlier. Scott, let's start with Scott then. Go ahead.
What I would say about that again. This when you asked me about to come and do the show, and the premise of the show was dads and being good dads, and so how do you get there?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a struggle. I mean, honestly, for me, it's like I'm trying. I appreciate that you see me that way, and I try to
everybody
be.
sees you that way.
I try to
Anthony.
be, but I think all of us as a collective society could benefit from the things that would make one a good father,
Mm.
and those are compassion and patience right? Compassion, patience, listening.
Right.
So, I would have to say I would like to leave people with the idea of remembering those children that tonight are separated from their folks.
I know this is
down at our southern borders.
Yes.
And it are thousands of children separated from their parents. And being a father, or being a human with compassion,
right,
and patience and listening to others, we should all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could go on about that for days.
We could, but I think we'd be remiss not to mention that with a show based on parenting and fatherhood or motherhood for that matter.
I'm so glad you said that because it's funny. I haven't been able to think about anything else. I mean, it really is crazy. Even today, I was like, do I turn on the news? Do I not turn on the news? And then I said, I have to turn on the news because I don't want to be one of those people that looks away. This is important, and I'm glad you said that. And we have to do something. So, Scotty, now what do you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I would say two things. I say the first thing, I think a secret to parenting, not that I'm an expert, but I think that I've learned, is that you can't parent like your parents because everything has changed. What we talked about earlier is that my daughters look at the phone as a video, as a way of seeing people when they talk to them on the phone. They have no idea how a phone works.
Right.
We use FaceTime and Duo to talk to relatives, so they don't even know that a phone is supposed to be something you put up to your ear and talk into. And that's obviously weird because back when I was a kid, we actually had phones with wires and they sat
attached to the wall.
Yeah. So I mean, our kids are growing up with a completely different view of the world. And the other thing is, with having 3 girls and being a guy,
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I really have to look at it from the female perspective and say, you have to fight for everything you can get. Don't
to your girls.
To the girls. I mean, to my daughters, we've already had the conversation about you can get paid. You can get paid as much as a guy.
1 second, Jimmy. How much time do we have? Are you there?
3.5 minutes.
Okay, thank you for this. Go ahead.
You can get paid just as much as a man for the work you do. I mean, I don't want them to feel like anybody's superior to them. They decide their fate. Nobody else decides their fate,
Good
and
for
they
you,
have
Scotty.
to be comfortable with what they do. And Jen and I really, we're not pushing our girls to do anything, as most parents don't. It's just we want to be there to let them know that we're there to help them, but they're going to figure out a lot of this alone.
Yeah.
Because we're all in uncharted territory.
Oh my! Now I don't know where we're going.
So we have to figure that out.
Yeah, and we have to stick together, and we have to take. And as a teacher, I feel the same way. Sometimes kids ask you questions, and you don't have answers to them. The way the world is right now, I don't know what the answer is, but I know, through music, that we can. Same thing with Bobby and his daughters. We through music and through arts and through loving them and through cooking and through, driving them, all this stuff. Just stay connected. What I'm hearing from these guys and what I feel as a teacher as well, and from watching what's happening, for the love of God, stay connected to your heart, stay connected to your kids. Your kids are frightened right now. It's not like when we grew up. Things were different. We were joking about, we used to hide under the desk. We used to do those drills. Remember those?
Air raid
drills. But that is nothing compared to what kids are going through now. Growing up now and what is happening right now in the world and being a kid, it's a different time. So that means being a parent, you're doubly armed. So we want to say thank you to all our parents out there that listen to the show. Thank you to the people that are teachers that listen to the show. If you're neither of those, you are still a human being. Get proactive. Get out there and volunteer. There's so many kids groups that could use your help. There's so many theaters that still haven't been started. Start a community theater. And if you do nothing else, let's all help out with what's happening right now, because we need to write to your congressman, call your congressman. I have them on my phone. I have all my congressmen and senators on my phone. Call them, let them know what's happening. This is our country. This doesn't belong to anybody else. Okay, so we're going out. We want to thank you very much. Thank you, Jimmy Bell. He is our producer and engineer for Armed Radio. Thanks to all our armed forces people out there across the world that are doing great things for us. We appreciate and love you. Come back every week at 9 p.m. with What's the Story with Maria. Good night, everybody. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
User left your channel.